Hi, it's Linda Fox. I'm Senior Reporter for PhocusWire, and I'm here with Ross Veitch, and he is CEO and co-founder of Wego. Welcome.
Thank you, Linda. Great to be here.
So there's a few things I want to talk about. It feels, kind of reading up on recent coverage of Wego and looking at some things you've done in the past, it feels as if you've got kind of two clear strands of business right now. One is the Middle East, and the other is sort of DMO partnership side of things. Is that fair? What have I missed?
Wow. Okay. So Wego is we started out as a meta search, and that's still the core of the business.
Okay.
We've built some OTA capabilities over the last couple of years of our own, and flight hotel activity. We are mobile app centric. About 80% of our bookings come off the app, and geographically, most of the business revolves around the MENA region.
Okay.
We do a lot of work with tourism boards.
Yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of this partnership, which is why I was wondering how that
maybe
fits into
over-index a little bit on the PR side for that stuff.
Okay, come back to haunt you.
Well, the press likes to pick it up, right? So, but we do a lot of co-marketing with them. So we took the old, the sort of the offline travel agency, tourism board model, and sort of figured out how to make it work in the digital world.
Okay.
And for the MENA region, we're moving. We're actually the biggest player on the flight side now, so we're a pretty obvious partner for anybody who cares about that as a market.
Okay.
And with China shut down, and increasingly tourism boards care about the Middle East as a lucrative source of high yielding tourists.
Exactly. So you have actually been pursuing that market for some time, and you recently acquired the Middle East business of ClearTrip.
Correct.
That's right. So, just talk me through, you talk about being the largest online travel marketplace in Middle East. What are the kind of standout market differences working in that region?
Well, okay, so the Middle East is a bit like operating in Europe or Asia in the sense that it's a whole bunch of separate markets.
Yeah.
It's a mixture of Arabic and English primarily. And then there's very different characteristics. So around the GCC, the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, you're dealing with relatively wealthy, developed economies. And then as you get further into Levant and North Africa, so Egypt, incomes are a lot lower, so it's a bit more of an emerging market. For the Gulf, which is the heart of our business, people are traveling with high frequencies. If you've ever been out, everybody's traveling multiple times a year. You've often got big families, tend to stay longer than average. We do a lot more up the front of the plane than you would out of most markets. The demographics, if you look at the Middle East, are kind of like that. It's very, very young, so very quick to adopt mobile. It's a very interesting, dynamic part of the world that's changing very, very fast at the moment.
So online penetration way up there, kind of bookings, digital bookings? Actually,
so if you look at the Phocuswright research from before COVID, so 30-ish, 35% online. I think there's been a massive accelerant over the last 3 years. I think we're probably more like 50 to 60 range now, massive. A lot of the offline agencies are no longer with us, and that's migrated either to supplier direct or to OTA.
Okay.
And in the same way that everybody's figured out how to buy their groceries online, or pay their bills online, do their banking.
Sure.
Same with travel.
Some of that, high-end front of the cabin travel, they often want a handheld service, a VIP service, a personal touch. Is that something you continue to see? I know that was the case in Asia.
Yeah. So what we found in the Gulf, there's a big part of the customer base, or the part of the market, who are prepared to pay a premium for premium levels of service. And so as we're getting into the transactional side of the business, we're deliberately positioning Wego as offering best in class service, and we're spending a lot of time thinking about how to deliver that. Yeah, still a work in progress, but that's the ambition.
Versus the digital
trust
side.
Is important.
Yeah,
trust is important,
exactly.
and word of mouth is critical.
Yeah.
So, and it's double edged, right? So if you mess it up, it very quickly goes to Twitter or Instagram, and then you've got to fight
Yeah,
get
you
some
got a fire
firefighting
on
to
your
do.
hands. Yeah,
But on the other side, it's also, word of mouth is a key way people decide who they're going to transact with. And it's not like some markets where like every 10 cents counts. So there are some price sensitive customers, but
it's not generally penny
people care about
pinching.
who they're booking with.
Yeah.
So your reputation matters.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it part of not the boast, but the story? We went there and we booked with so and so because they offered this. Is it was it part of the narrative that they would give?
And they looked after me when this happened.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so I want to know if customer acquisition is different for you in the Middle East.
Versus other markets, or versus so we lean heavily into social media. We've done a lot of TV, a lot of offline. If you look at our investments over the last 5 years, it's probably 50-50 performance versus brandish offline, harder to measure stuff.
Yeah.
So we've spent a lot building the brands, and it really paid off. So we've had all of the our business is about 70% recovered now, and it's all come back without us having to spend much on paid channels at all. It's been really interesting. So we
is that pure pent up demand?
Yeah, plus people who have already got the Wego app installed or already remember the brand from the before times. And we've been very active in the earned media channels, so social and PR and content marketing. We kept going flat out all the way through COVID.
Okay.
We tried switched it from sort of trying to inspire people to trying to help them. With the logistics of traveling. And that's sort of kept us top of mind. And now, as people are able to travel, it's just all coming back. So our marketing mix has changed quite radically as a result. So we're, the old playbook and the new playbook are looking very different. And
you were able to benefit from the kind of inter-regional travel during the pandemic, or not?
So there was a little bit of domestic. So when all the borders were closed, we had some domestic within Saudi Arabia. There was a bit within the UAE, lots of staycations, and so we did a lot more of that than we would normally do. Yeah. As did everybody.
Yeah, but generally your focus would be international.
Yeah, we do like probably 80% international most months. Okay. A lot of it's within the region, so within the MENA region, but we also send a lot of people to Europe, to Asia, a lot of South Asian traffic.
I was going to ask you about your kind of Asia Pacific side of the business, because you do have a presence there. What's your hopes for recovery in that region?
So Southeast Asia is pretty much open now. It took a while, but Southeast Asia is open. North Asia slower. China, I don't think we're going to see open until after Chinese New Year next year, is my best guess.
Right. Okay. Still quite a way away.
Japan's still not fully open. Korea's still sort of half open. So give it a few more months. I think Asia will be. All the big Asian destinations will be back, but it's a great time to go and visit some of those destinations before China reopens.
True. Yeah, true.
So if you haven't been to Thailand recently,
now's
a great
numbers,
time.
Now you are on record as mentioning IPO at some point in the future, back in 2019. We've got that written down somewhere, so let's have a little update on that.
Well, yeah, at some point, I think it would make sense for Wego Group to become a publicly traded company. That would set us up for an independent life well into the future. Yeah. I think we want to achieve a bit more scale before we go down that path. That's definitely the ambition. And by bringing Wego and ClearTrip and Fly-In, which is the third brand, into the group, it gets us there significantly faster.
Bit faster, yeah.
So effectively, we've made up for all the time we're standing still from COVID.
Yeah. But you're not rushing headlong into a SPAC or anything.
No, I don't think now would be a
I don't either, but I just thought I'd ask.
And to be honest, we've got 3 companies to integrate, right? So that's going to be laser focused on that for at least the next 12 months.
You've got an interesting partnership with Huawei. What is it? What does it do?
So we worked with Huawei for many years. They've been a great partner. So we worked with them. There's a couple different aspects to it. We've preloaded Wego as an app on Huawei phones in most markets around the world. We've tried all of their different app download, app install initiatives. So some of them are the Huawei App Gallery. Some of them are things they build into the UI that you get by default with Huawei. And it's driven a significant portion of our Android user base.
So if you get it already delivered on your phone, what's the sort of general propensity to keep it on your phone and actually open it and use it?
So we've done this with Huawei, we've done it with Samsung, we did it with Xiaomi years ago. So the key to making these deals work is to pick the right combination of handset and markets.
Yeah.
So thinking about the demographics of the person who's going to buy each of the models.
Yeah.
And then working with the partner to activate. So they have different push strategies.
Yes.
Lifetime value between a pre-install versus an organic install or install from another channel. There is a gap.
Yeah.
Key is to be able to measure it and then make sure the commercial relationship you've got with the handset maker
stays balanced.
makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, similarly, just because you talked about depending on the market and the demographic, super app similarly, obviously big in Asia, continues to be debated about whether we can have some sort of super app in Europe and the US. ME, is that a region for super apps?
Super apps. There's the same people that are trying to build them for a lot of the same categories of people are trying to build them for Western markets or Southeast Asian markets, are trying to build them for the Middle East. So there's a constellation of people that are starting with payments. And there's some people starting with ride hailing. And there's some people starting with e-commerce. Yeah. And then there's some people like us that are starting from a travel. So we would like to be a super app within the travel context.
I don't think that's really a super app, is it?
Super-ish.
Is it? Okay, we'll wait for that one to come out then.
We would like for Wego just to provide pretty much everything you need as a traveler.
Okay.
That's the ambition. We're 4 or 5 years away from being able to fully deliver that, but that's the ambition. Okay,
and just to sort of wrap up here, some of our colleagues were up on stage, pundit and predictions session yesterday, and things like blockchain came up and they said irrelevant, and things like Metaverse came up and they said, oh, it's a joke. What are your views on things like that?
Well, that's a broad question. So I'm old enough to have been through the first .com boom. I remember when Morgan Stanley used to send out their, the report every month and have a page for every startup that was, a lot of them went to zero, but a lot of those ideas have been given new leases of life. And a lot of it's about timing. And, all the crypto stuff, blockchain, there's a lot of hype, a lot of scam artists.
Crashes.
But at its heart, there's some very, very clever technology which will revolutionize the world eventually.
Right.
Like cross-border payments.
Yeah.
Dealing with banks and SWIFT, it's a nightmare, right?
Yeah, makes sense, yeah.
They're holding on to your money for 48 hours and then it gets lost, and you should be able to just send it frictionless.
And see it
immediately.
Yeah, they got it, yeah.
Correct.
Exactly.
So I think the Indian UPI with the instant payments, I think something like that needs to become a global standard. It doesn't have to be blockchain dependent, but something like that. Yeah, I think there's
something like that in Africa as well, isn't there? Something similar.
Yeah, there's a lot of mobile money.
Mobile pay, kind of thing. Yeah.
Kenya's, I can't remember the name of it, but in every cycle, right, there's a lot of hype. But at the core, there's some very, very clever technology which will eventually
come to the fore, and we'll see serious use cases. Yeah. Any of them that you're particularly keeping an eye on yourself that you're like, okay, this is going to be?
The metaverse stuff is interesting. It's a long way away. I think it's a lot. It's maybe, the technology. If you spend any time with a virtual reality headset, you get dizzy, nauseous,
headache, hot head.
The battery life, is not there. But give it 5-10 years. It'll be interesting. I think the augmented reality use cases are probably more interesting for travel.
Yeah.
So you're in Amsterdam. You're not familiar with the place. You're getting overlays on your glasses.
Yeah, familiarize yourself a bit sometimes as well.
Turn by turn directions. Yeah. Alerts when you walk past something which might be of interest to you.
Maybe a discount here and there. Or
simultaneous translation. You get a little.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't need it so much here in Amsterdam.
No, Amsterdam.
Lots of places where it'd be useful.
Yeah. And the whole, we'll just finish on this one. The whole kind of, self-sovereign ID, because that's going to take a while too. But that also seems to have enormous potential.
Yeah, I haven't gone too deep into that, to be honest.
Okay.
I think the initiative So Google, Apple, kind of working on at the moment to make passwords a thing of the past. I think that's quite
cool.
exciting.
Yeah,
you know?
that's quite cool.
There's far too many passwords in my life as it is. And you know, travel for most people is a low frequency use case, so the chances that somebody's forgotten their password come time to log into their travel app, pretty high.
Yeah,
you know?
Especially during the pandemic because we were accessing so many systems at so many times.
You know, so if you know, Apple and Google working together can figure out a way, or Microsoft, to make that go away, I think that's a big pain point, a lot of friction that will benefit a lot of users.
Ross, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great to talk to you.
Thanks for having me.